Oh. Oh. Alright. Hey everybody. I'm Invisiblekatana. Holy crap. That one got me. Wow, that made me feel heavy. I think I went to sleep. Whew. I don't even remember what I'm looking for. I had a hat. Oh, here it is. Oh my goodness. Welcome to part 2. Clearly I had the dumbness in me to make another video. Part 2 of my random nerdy collection. The random nerd things that I own. This is my plush motorcycle helmet from the anime D-U-R, and then some A's and some R's in there. I'm too high right now for that. One of my favorites, without a doubt. Saw it on Adult Swim a while back, and then Netflix actually ended up they continued the series and did like 2, and then that was technically like 3 or 4 seasons or something in the second series, and the story continues, and it just gets better. Like, it genuinely is just like, holy crap, it just gets better. Like, there was nothing where I was like, well, that's dumb, this person I don't really like, this new character is meh. It's just like, no, this is better. It's amazing. Like, every character is just better, and it's just like, this show does not get bad. Not for me, at least. Like, my experience with it. Other people, everybody's different, but for me, I was just like, this is one of my tops. Like, I freaking love that anime. I really should read the manga for that, but obviously, I saw someone it was at Youmacon. For anyone in Michigan. Well, it's not just a Michigan thing. RIP Youmacon 2020, because honestly, I don't know right now. Like, I can't help it. It's 2020. It's crazy. You kind of, sometimes it's nuts. We got these protests, and who knows, in 2 weeks, whew, it's crazy. And plus in Michigan, I mean, it is kind of crazy here. But back to the fun stuff. I don't know. We might have it. We might not. Either way, the next Youmacon, no matter what, the next Youmacon, even though this one is not supposed to be on Halloween, so we'll see. But either way, everybody's gonna party, as they say, like it's 1999. Because the next Youmacon, the next every single con is gonna be the best con. Period. There will be no better year for any convention. Period. So it's gonna be weird, but I think when everyone is officially, like, I don't know if like the giant ones, I think they might wait until. Sorry, also, if this is getting into like that crazy specific nerd corner of everybody goes to conventions. Yeah, if you're a nerd, you gotta like conventions. Like, if you haven't been, convention, please. It is an experience. That's the only way to describe it. I wouldn't have this if it wasn't for that experience. Saw somebody at Youmacon. I was like, where did you get that? Amazon wish list. Got it for Christmas. Love this thing. So, moving on from that. Oh man. My head is so big. Wow. That's an experience. Taking this off is an experience. Wow. Oh, that is good. Part 2 of my nerd things. Go to the anime convention. Go to a convention that is about your thing. Everything has a convention, and they are all pretty sick. Mr. Booby Butthole. So I also have the, as you can probably imagine, especially the Doctor Strange robe here. This is from Loot Crate. Interesting story about this. I'll actually get to that. It's a good one. Mr. Booby Butthole. I do have quite a bit of Loot Crate stuff, as many a nerd does. And one of the things I got was the Peace Among Worlds Rick, where he's flipping everybody off. So I have that too, but I was high and lazy, so I was like, I'm gonna just pick up Mr. Poopy Butthole and then mention I have that figure. You can see it in 100 trillion different ways on YouTube. Trust me, everyone's talked about that figure. So you can find a lot of different angles. You'll be fine. Far better footage than this one, but I have Mr. Poopy Butthole, and I also have Peace Among Worlds Rick. This is a newer edition. So this is one of the last Loot Crate items I actually got. And one of the interesting things about this is that people got different journals. Actually, I'll show y'all the other item. I'll show y'all it. Let me get this right. So, I forgot what month this was or whatever it ended up being, with the crazy delays and everything. But at that point, when I was still getting it, people got these items. So it was Batman and Superman. I forgot what the theme was, but different people got different items. Like I got this. Somebody said they got a Batman one. The YouTube video I saw, instead of getting the Batman Beyond one, which I think this or of course Batman the Animated Series, top two, unless they put my personal favorite, the Batman, which I forgot who played the main actor, but that second Batmobile in the Batman Animated Series, I have to say is my favorite freaking Batmobile, period. Like Bat vehicle, period, is that second one. And I always think of it, and I always have to look it up, but I know it looks sweet. It had like that one line, because the first one got destroyed because the dude could like plug into the system and he had to like destroy the car, and he made that new one, and it was like kind of reminiscent of like the old 80s Batman, because it was kind of like just one vehicle, and it was like that early style where it was just like only the top move, kind of like Batman the Animated Series, and it was just like only the top moves and stuff like that. So it seemed like it was kind of in that vein, but it had like a blue light on it, and blue's my favorite color. Maybe that was really it. It was black and blue, and I was like, that's a cool Batmobile. I really like that show. I feel like that one was underrated, got a bad rap. Joker was like crazy in that show. I love that. They had one of the best Batman movies, actually, was for that TV show, and it was the Batman versus Dracula. That was the Batman. I love that movie. I'm like, personally speaking, I think that's one of the best like Batman animated movies we got, because that was actually really good. It was like, I think that was technically like the most violent that show ever got, because it was, of course, it was still like vampires, but it wasn't like blood was shooting out and people got ripped apart and stuff. It still had to be for kids, but I'm like, man, like, especially if they did redo it now where it was the more serious stuff where they will show blood, I think that really would have been like almost like a remaster for that movie. I think would actually be phenomenal, because I love that one, and I like the animation style for that show too. I also miss the 3D Batman show, which was actually the first show I ever reviewed on my original YouTube channel. That was actually what got me into doing YouTube. I was like, I'm gonna talk about this new show, see how that feels. This is actually my high journal, by the way. So all my high thoughts, property of 69, because that's just good. Nice. I got a couple pages in here. It's literally just whatever the date is, and then a random thought that I had. So, so May 6, 2020, is this dude wearing DBZ underwear? That was in a porno clip I saw, and I'm like, is that dude wearing Dragon Ball Z underwear? Sadly, he was not. But anyway, in that one loot crate, some people didn't get this, which I think is super cool. Some people got the tumbler from Batman, and I was like, oh, the Graveler, there it is. Or no, it was the tumbler. It was some dirt name. And he got that one. And I was like, that is not as cool. That's a Batman Beyond one. So I was like, yeah, like he was kind of disappointed. And I was like, oh, I thought everybody got like Batman Beyond, because everybody loves Batman Beyond, but there's not a lot of physical stuff. Like it's all old school, and it's like, this is new Batman Beyond stuff. I know there's probably toys because they do have the comics, so I'm sure you can probably get a toy of the newer like Terry McGinnis and stuff like that. So I'm sure that technically does exist, but that old school style, even though once again it wouldn't look like the Batman animated series. Like that's kind of the point of the new Batman animated series comic book, where it's like it's specifically drawn to look like that old show. So it's not really the same style. Like, I mean, it could look the same in the comics. I mean, I'm sure they kept this design, but I would assume. I mean, it was still their character. I would assume that they still would keep the design, but yeah, I guess it still wouldn't look exactly the same, because it has to do like the color palette and the way they would do reflections and stuff. I don't know. That's interesting. I can easily look that up. This isn't that big of a mystery. I'm like, wow, what is it? I could Google the answer. It's actually not that complicated. Yeah, okay, so it's those. I don't know what the heck. I was supposed to do something else. Like I wasn't even supposed to go to the journal and like all the Batman stuff. I was definitely supposed to be like, oh, there's some stuff here, and there was something that was supposed to happen, but I really don't remember. Um, so I'm gonna just grab something else random because I know I had some weird flow. I probably didn't, and I thought I did, but I never actually did. Maybe that's more likely. But either way, I'll be right back. Okay, so this little sheep here is for Catherine Full Bodied Edition. So it was a remake, of course, to the original game, Catherine. Like every time I see the name Catherine now, I think of this game and Troy Baker screaming Catherine. Like that's literally what comes to mind. So I watch too much TV, play too much video games because so many names are attached to stuff. Victoria, pretty much anyone from The Simpsons. That's of course like that's I don't know. Interesting. So I got that. I love that freaking game. It is so good. I was surprised they did a remake, but I thought it was really cool. I actually do. Well, obviously I have it. I actually pre-ordered it. I was like, I really want to get this. Plus, I had it was so sad. I actually found out. I didn't time it, and I was a fool and I forgot. But I had probably like a month or two before they canceled it. I had that Best Buy game perk thing or whatever it was, where you get like no matter what the game is, I think you get like 15% off or something like that. Like you basically save like $14 or something. It was something insane. Like it was, I mean, $14 shouldn't be that much, but sadly, the world we live in, $14 seems like a lot to me. So it was always really interesting. So it was like I could pre-order games and stuff, and I was gonna do it for my most anticipated game of the year, Ghost of Tsushima. The freaking gameplay demo they had, and then they did a photo mode. I actually made a meme about it. I feel like I'm repeating myself because I mentioned this. So I've had a vlog, just to plug my other channel, my main channel, Invisiblekatana. Been doing a vlog for the quarantine. I think this is technically week 11. And also it's the end of the Michigan lockdown. So that's interesting. But I've been doing that like week by week and, shaving with a straight razor for the first time. A bunch of, just the random things you get and experience, purchases and stuff like that, being in lockdown. Like what do you do day to day by yourself? So I was doing that. If you guys want to check that out, like I said, it's been every week, some highs. One week I was like totally depressed. And then other weeks I wasn't. That's how it goes. That's, lockdown life. But yeah, it's been an interesting experience. I think I mentioned it was either the last video or something else I was talking about. Probably the 2020 video, because I did do that, so check that out if you want to get serious. I forgot. Those drugs. Well, yeah, man, I guess I technically only showed off like one item. I know I saw in the timer we were at like 12 minutes. I was like, I don't know. Considering all the pauses, I mean, that's probably enough time. Oh, yeah, we'll say that's enough because I'm high and somehow with my trillions of things. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. That's why it made sense. I remember now. Actually, I just saw something. I just want to show this out because it's cute. I like it. Saw this I think this is the last video. Things can go full circle. I think it was, should have been the last video. I mentioned conventions and stuff. This was at the last convention I went to, which was the Wayne State University, Midtown Detroit. I actually used to live there. Actually, I think about it. Midtown Detroit. It was the Wayne State University Anime Convention. It was their first year. It was free, and it was a really big turnout. And I actually got this super cool pillow. I wish I could remember the person's name. There's no tag on this, but I don't know if you want to crop that out right there. Boom. And you can crop that out right there, and then reverse image search it on Google, and then you can probably find where the person that sells this, because these are super cool, and I love this. And I was like, look at that. I mean, how can you not want that? It's Link hugging Pikachu, and then it's Link hugging Pikachu dressed as Pikachu, while Pikachu is dressed as Link. That's super cute. You can't not own that sort of thing. So my last anime convention, great experience. WayCon. We'll see about next year. I would love to go. I hope I'm there. I hope it's happening. because that was really cool. That was definitely cool. It was like, man, Midtown gets to have an anime convention. Still cold, but that's Michigan. Youmacon is colder. We deal with it. But yeah, wanted to show that off. Excuse me, before officially ending it. But the thing that I remember before I actually even started filming part 2 was that if you want to see more stuff that I do have, for one, you can check out my vlog because I go through a lot of recent like I bought a lot of albums recently, and a bunch of other like random things. Like I'm sure you guys have heard of Displate. I wish I could be sponsored by them, but I don't have nobody watches these. But Displate, I do think genuinely is really cool. Like I only have 2. One is my Spike Spiegel one, and then my other one, Spike Spiegel, is Cowboy Bebop. For those of you who are not in the anime version of the nerd thing that somehow gets put into this video, data and whatnot. But I got my Cowboy Bebop, and then I have one of the limited edition ones that they did early on. I think it's called Moonlight Dusk, and I was like, just the way that image looked, I was like, I want that limited edition piece. And I think it's really cool. I'm really glad that I got it. I still have to figure out where the heck I'm going to put it. But I do love it. I love the freaking design on that, and I'm super happy about it. I know the Batman one, that came out limited edition. I was like, oh, let me check this out. I had no intention of buying it. I thought it looked cool, but I wanted to see what other limited editions may have come out. And then I was like, yep, Batman sold out already. I was like, what a surprise. It's freaking Batman. It's a sweet piece. It has the reflective look. It's going to be a good piece. Like, when that's in future collection videos and stuff down the line, it's going to be like, yeah, this is my limited edition Batman display. You see, like, the reflective acrylic, and I thought it was, like, a cool, like, you can imagine it's him standing in the middle of Crime Alley and stuff, and it's just a poetic sort of image. And I'm like, somebody's going to be saying that in the future video, like 2 or 3 years. Like, this is my, Batman display with the reflective. It's going to be, like, one of their cool art pieces in their collection. And so... it's interesting because I think they only do like 100 or something. It was either like 100 or 1,000. It was some small number, but I think it genuinely was like, maybe it had to be more than 100. But I think it was just until sold out, but they might have I might as well check. It might have a number. Also, I just had like the super high realization of a great freaking detail that I love in storytelling, which I should because I attempt to write sometimes. Show, don't tell. Remember that one. This is the poster. So I love it. It's really cool. And you can see it now. And it's amazing. And it was a limited edition running. They are only 100 apiece. So I have 96 out of 100. Let me see. Yep, it is called Moonlight Dusk. That's what it says. And I love the piece. I think it's really cool. So I love that. And I was like, you know what? Had to have it. So in the future, this will be in my collection. I'll be like, yeah, this was my limited edition piece, Moonlight Dusk. And then I'll do something really poetic with it, and this will be like the framing piece for like my shrine to Resident Evil, because it totally fits with the mountains and stuff. And then I'll have like a tiny little, like one of those little kids, well, it's not really just for kids, but the little music things where you wind it up, and it'll be Moonlight Sonata, of course, in honor of the first Resident Evil, which I love. Because that's the type of crazy nerd crap that I think of that I'm going to do in the future. So this might be my shrine to Resident Evil. It also works for Alan Wake. You can check out my Instagram, Invisiblekatana. And I do, because it was the 10-year anniversary of Alan Wake, which actually I do believe I showed in the other video, so I don't need to talk about that again. I do apologize. I love Alan Wake. There will be a video. But yeah, it's a cool mountain aesthetic, so I love that. So that's really cool. And I'll let you guys look up the Cowboy Bebop one on your own, actually. This one, I like showing off. I would love to show off that one. I'm also high. I don't really want to walk over there. And also, it's not the same sort of feel. Like, it's my limited edition baby. This is mine. And then, when I have to, like, whip it like a discus and chop somebody's head off because, they're trying to attack me, and then I get teleported into a martial arts movie, a super violent one. We'll say Afro Samurai. It's not really martial. Well, of course it's martial arts, but you know what I mean. It's more gore, less Jackie Chan, more Afro Samurai. More anime. Just like you gotta whisk somebody's head off, like taking down my Moonlight Dusk, which would be a cool name for a mystical blade. I think, just personal thing, just saying. But love this piece. I like this plate. I love to be sponsored by you guys, but I understand why you wouldn't. I get it, but I think that's good. There's not much else to show off. The once again, the ending part two, not the not the ending electric boogaloo things do kind of rhyme with three, I think. I think that's from a different video. Um, I was supposed to say I do have, aside from my vlog, where I have all my more recent stuff, I do have an actual Let's Discuss video you guys can check out, which I hope this is the first time I'm saying this, that you guys can check out. It's all of my limited edition stuff because I got a few weeks ago the Death Stranding Collector's Edition, but it was broken, and I call it the Broke Baby Edition. So that got me thinking, like, oh, I want to talk about all my special edition video game stuff, or at least a lot of it. I think I take pictures. I think I show everything. I think I take pictures of some of it. But a lot of it I actually hold. Vegeta even makes an appearance in that because Vegeta's just the best. So you guys can check that out as well if you want to see like my video game collector's editions. Got God of War, Resident Evil, and stuff like that. That didn't describe a lot. That was just like 2 games. But collector's editions also have Sonic, also have Fallout. Different types of aesthetics. You get different views and things like that. You can always check out my Instagram. You have to scroll a bit, but I do take pictures of like all my like collector's editions when they like figures and cool stuff. I definitely take pictures of them so you can scroll through and see some of my old God of War pictures. When I first got that, I was so excited. I love that God of War game. I really enjoyed it. Angry Joe kind of spoiled it for me, and I knew it was gonna happen. That's one, like, I regret it so much. I won't even spoil it if you haven't played God of War yet and you've avoided spoilers somehow. I won't do that to you. But I love Angry Joe. Be careful if you watch his videos though, because sometimes he has like these minute spoilers where it's like, shucks, that was kind of a giant detail that has like so much history if you follow the game. So I think, if you've played God of War, you kind of know what I'm talking about. And there's a very specific part in the story where I was like, oh, that would have been a nice surprise. And I knew it, and I thought I was safe because I was like, love Angry Joe. Can't watch the God of War review because I've seen some stuff, and I'm like, I know how he does his reviews. So I'm like, I gotta be careful because sometimes he'll have like a minute thing where I'm like, could have missed out on that. Sometimes it's just like, it might be a power detail that it was never like in any of the trailers. It's typically that sort of thing actually. And I think that's what it tends to be that I happen to notice where it's like, that's, it'll just be like, it's just like a power. But the God of War one specifically was like the time I thought about it and waited. And I think the God of War one is genuinely like the one where I was like, ooh, that was the worst one for me personally. Like other times, like I said, it's like powers and stuff, and that was like a big story moment as far as I was concerned, being a person who's enjoyed the franchise from the beginning. Although I'll admit I didn't play anything after 3 because I was like, it's not going forward in time, so I don't want to hear about that crap. And it was something that it applied to the games that were good. No offense to other games, I know they were good. I know they were entertaining. I feel so rude saying I haven't even played them. I'm sure they were fun, but I didn't even bother trying them, and the reviews weren't really that great. I think for like the first one they were, and then I think Ascension was the one where people were like, nah, it didn't work. I recently watched a video and I was like, wow, I forgot God of War technically had a multiplayer mode. I think it may have been Ascension that had it, and it's just like, whew. History is so weird that it has even its nerd facets where you're just like, that is a historic moment for gaming. The multiplayer madness where everybody had to have a multiplayer mode. Like the first time it kicked in, I think that's what it was. It was the 4v4 thing, and people would change it up a little bit. It was either deathmatch or Dead Space 2 even did it, where it was like sometimes it was actually, it was 4v4. So it would be like 4 humans doing an objective, and then 4 other people would play as the necromorphs. Not xenomorphs, the necromorphs. And so, like everything had to have that multiplayer. And it's just interesting because, we always have it. We go in the waves. Everybody had to have multiplayer. Of course, the more recent stuff, every game coming out with loot boxes. So, that wasn't even a battle mode. That was just like an annoying thing. of course, Battle Royale is like the game mode. Before that, it was, I think after the original just 4v4, everybody was like, holy crap, look at Gears of War. Everything had a Horde mode after that, which I'll admit, I actually like Horde mode. I don't mind everything having a Horde mode. I'll be truly, I think that was even a discussion where everyone was like, should everything have one? Does it work? Does it not work? For me personally, it's not, it's just one of those like pseudo god type modes where it's like a debug thing. Like you don't really get that if you don't buy PC, like you can't just get like, well, let me just spawn in this and do that and like, mess with some games. So for console people, it's kind of like, I would love a survival mode. I've always liked survival modes, and I feel like every game, and it almost gets to like the best of any action, shooter type game or whatever. If it's an action game, that is where you'll find it. That's where you'll see how refined it truly is. If it's just absolute garbage, it'll suck. But that just probably shows how much effort they put into the game as a whole. If it couldn't be like, that would just be pure combat. It wouldn't just be like, oh, Horde mode sucks because the combat is bad. The game sucks because the combat is bad. So it's one of those types of things where I'm like, I think every game should have it, but then it's the weird economy of like, well, if you don't bother having them waste time on Horde mode, they could probably refine it. But then it's like, combat is almost so early on, I would think, as to like, at the very least, how you're gonna conceptualize it. And it's just like, it's just interesting. Like, is it really being lost, or is that like, is Horde mode genuinely like, all right, everything else is done, we've got time, because they think everything's there. So either they would never have done anything and just stopped, which I don't think would ever really happen. Like, no one's just gonna be like, and we're done. And like that, I know that's not how games work. It's not like, people are not lazy in the game design industry, despite the overall, well, it's not even that bad anymore. It's all right. Being a nerd is the cool thing, which is weird. But fun. It's cool. It makes you, I mean, heck, nerds felt weird. Nerds felt weird. It's one of the weird historic moments when you really think about it. Kids growing up watching anime for the first time. That's an anime boom. Like, I think Crunchyroll even put out a post where they specifically say, technically, everybody's been saying about the black community and stuff. I think Gushers even did. It was like, I did eat Gushers, that's for sure. Candy, and it just pops in your mouth. Just growing up freaky, I guess. I don't know. It worked though. So Gushers, everybody's putting out posts. So it's really interesting. Cool. Get a freaking gummy worm for my liquids. It's so good. This is
You hungry? I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. You hungry? Yeah, I'm hungry. Like I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Like I'm Shaggy. Man, I'm hungry. Man, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Yeah, man. You hungry?